A very warm welcome to this session on Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, commonly known as REBT therapy. Before going into the therapy, let us have a look at the statement made by Epictetus, a Greek philosopher whose sole interest was in Stoic philosophy. People are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. What does this statement imply? It simply means that people or human beings are not disturbed by the things or issues or incidents that happen in their life. Instead, it is the belief system that they have about that particular incident that is responsible for the emotions or the disturbance they feel. So you keep this statement in mind, and we are stepping to rational emotive behavior therapy, where the belief system is the core subject of our study. Rational motor behavior therapy is based on the premise that our cognitions, emotions, and behaviors are an integrated system, and that when we are disturbed, it is because we think, feel, act in dysfunctional, self defeating ways. Therefore, we are able to function more successfully. However, we define that by focusing on changing our thinking, feelings, and behaviors to be more aligned with how we want to operate in the world. RABT theory was developed by Albert Ellis, and he is considered as the father of cognitive behavioral therapy. There are three main assumptions in this theory. Cognitions are one of the most important determinants of human emotion and behavior. Cognitive activity may be monitored and altered. Desired behavioral and emotional changes may be made through changing cognitions. Rational emotive behavior therapy distinguishes itself from other cognitive behavioral therapy by placing irrational and rational beliefs at its core. In rational emotive behavior therapy, rational beliefs are defined as beliefs that are flexible, non extreme, and logical, and in contrast, irrational beliefs are rigid, extreme, and illogical. In REBT binary model of distress, it is composed of healthy negative emotions which are associated with adaptive behaviors that stem from rational beliefs, while unhealthy negative emotions are associated with maladaptive behaviors that stem up from irrational beliefs. Now we'll look into the ABCDE model of distress. It's commonly called as ABC model. The basic idea behind the ABC model is that external events do not cause emotions, but beliefs, and in particular, irrational beliefs, are the ones that cause emotions. Another way to think about it is that our emotions and behaviors are not directly determined by life events, but rather by the way these events are cognitively processed and evaluated. In this model, this is what a typical series of thoughts might look like. A is the activating agent, that is, something happens to or around someone. B is the belief. The event causes someone to have a belief, either rational or irrational. C. Consequence. The belief leads to a consequence, with rational beliefs leading to healthy consequences and irrational beliefs leading to unhealthy consequences. D is disputation. If one has held an irrational belief which has caused unhealthy consequences, they must dispute that belief and turn it into a rational belief. E is the new effect. The disputation has turned the irrational belief into a rational belief, and the person now has a healthier consequence of their actions. This is the main idea behind the ABC model. The presence of irrational beliefs and the absence of rational beliefs are the focus of REBT. Rational beliefs are helpful, healthy, functional, adaptive, and helps us in achieving our goals. Whereas irrational beliefs are unhelpful, unhealthy, dysfunctional, maladaptive, and usually get into the way of our goal achievement. REBT emphasizes on the importance of creating and supporting clients' rational beliefs so as to influence the emotional and behavioral consequences in a more helpful direction. The goal when using the ABC model in treatment is to help the client accept the rational beliefs and dispute the irrational beliefs.
Principles of REBT. 1. The theory says that people feel what they think, past, present, anticipated future, and other people may serve as triggers, but so not inherently create good or bad feeling. Instead, it is created ourselves unconsciously. 2. Irrational beliefs are a major determinant of emotional and behavioral distress or disturbance. Dysfunctional emotional states results from irrational beliefs. 3. Analysis of thoughts, identifying and changing the negative beliefs is the best way to change dysfunctional, disturbed emotions and behaviors. 4. Multiple factors are antecedents to creating and holding irrational beliefs and psychopathology. 5. REBT distinguishes between two different types of negative emotions. 1. Rational negative emotions, which are helpful, healthy, functional, and adaptive. The second one is irrational negative emotions, which are unhelpful, unhealthy, dysfunctional, and maladaptive. Interventions are done to change the irrational negative emotions. 6th, REBT emphasizes present influences on emotions and behavior rather than historical influences on beliefs, emotions, and behavior.
Having looked at the principles of REBT, now it is time to take a look into the techniques used in REBT. So Albert Ellis recommends a selectively eclectic approach to therapy, that is using strategies from REBT and other approaches, but ensuring that the strategy is compatible with REBT theory. So some of the examples of procedures that are commonly used in REBT. First is a cognitive technique. So cognitive techniques aim at teaching the client how to deal with the self-statements so that they no longer believe them, and they are encouraged to acquire a philosophy based on reality. So first one, rational analysis. So rational analysis is analysis of the specific episodes to teach the client how to uncover and dispute the irrational beliefs. And it is usually done in the sessions at first, and then as the client gets the idea, they can be carried out as homework. Second is the double standard dispute. So if the client holds a should or is self-downing about their behavior, then they are asked if they would globally rate another person, such as their best friend or someone else, for doing the same thing. When they say no, they are helped to see that they are holding a double standard. So this is especially useful with resistant beliefs which the client finds hard to give up. The next is catastrophe scale. So it is a useful technique to get awfulizing into perspective. On a whiteboard or a sheet of paper, the client is asked to draw a line down one side and put 100% at the top, 0% at the bottom, and 10% intervals in between. The client is then asked to rate whatever it is they are catastrophizing about and insert them into the chart in the appropriate place. Then they are asked to fill in other levels with items the client thinks apply to those levels. For example, putting watching a TV show at home at 0% and watching someone being burgled or harmed at 70%, or being diagnosed with cancer with 90%, or being burned alive at 100%, and so on. So finally, it will have the client progressively alter the position of their feared item on the scale until it is in the perspective in relation to other items. Next is the devil's advocate. So it is a very useful technique which is also known as reverse role playing, that is designed to get the client arguing against their own dysfunctional belief. So here the therapist role plays adopting the client's belief and vigorously argues for it, while the client tries to convince the therapist that the belief is dysfunctional. And the next is reframing. So it is another strategy so as to get the bad events into perspective, so as to re-evaluate them as disappointing, concerning, or uncomfortable rather than as awful or unbearable. Another variation of reframing would be helping the client to see that even the negative events also have a positive side by listing all the positives that the client can think about. But here it has to be kept in mind that it should not come across as if we are suggesting that the bad experience is really a good one. Now, let us understand the emotive techniques in RABT. So, emotive techniques help the clients to understand the value of unconditional self acceptance and unconditional others' acceptance, even though the behavior may be difficult to accept. So, they can desire to see themselves and others as worthwhile. So, the first one we'll be looking at is a role playing. So, role playing have both emotional and behavioral components, and clients can rehearse certain behaviors so as to bring out what they feel in the situation with the therapist in a presumed environment. Here, the focus is on working through the underlying irrational beliefs that are related to the unpleasant feelings. And next is rational emotive imagery. So it is a form of intense mental practice that is designed to establish new emotional patterns by making the clients imagine themselves the worst thing that could happen. So the unhealthy, upset feelings, the intense experience of feelings, and that are all changed to healthy and positive feelings. So as the clients change their feelings about the adversities, they stand a better chance of changing their behavior in the real situation. The two major imagery techniques that are used in REBT are time projection and the blow up technique. So, time projection is a technique that is designed to show that one's life and the world in general will continue even after an unwanted event. So, the client is asked to visualize the unwanted event occurring and then imagine going forward in time, a week, a month, 2 years, and so on, considering how they will be feeling at each of these points in time. So they'll be able to see that the life will go on even though they may be required to make some adjustments. So the next is the blow up technique. So it is a variation of the worst case imagery that is coupled with the use of humor to provide a vivid and memorable experience for the client. So it involves asking the client to imagine whatever it is they fear happening, then blow it up out of all proportions till they cannot help but be amused by it. So laughing at fears in this manner will help get control of them. Again, the use of this technique requires sensitivity and appropriate timing. So moving on to the behavioral techniques. One of the best ways to check out and modify a belief is to act. So the client can be encouraged, for instance, to check out the evidence for their fears and to act in the ways that disprove them. First one is exposure. One of the most common behavioral strategy used in RABT, where the client enters the feared situation they would normally avoid. So such exposure is deliberate, planned, and carried out using the cognitive and other coping skills. So it is mainly done to test the validity of one's fears, to de-awfulize them, to develop the confidence in one's ability to cope, and to increase tolerance for the discomfort. Next is shame attacking. So this type of exposure involves confronting the fear of shame by deliberately acting in ways that the client anticipates result in disapproval. Next is risk taking. So it is the purpose here is to challenge the beliefs that certain behaviors are too dangerous to risk, when reasons say that while the outcome is not guaranteed, they are worth the chance. For example, the client who is too perfectionistic or who is afraid of failing might be asked to start tasks where there is a reasonable chance of failing or not matching their expectations. Next is paradoxical behavior. Here, the client who wishes to change a dysfunctional tendency is encouraged to deliberately behave in a way that is contradictory to the tendency. So here, the emphasis is that the importance of not waiting until they feel like doing it. So here, the client is encouraged to practice the new behavior, even though it is not spontaneous. It is believed that it will gradually internalize this new habit. Now, stepping out of character. So it is one common type of paradoxical behavior. For example, a perfectionistic person will be asked to do things that are less than their usual standards, like someone who believes that that taking care of oneself is selfish may be asked to indulge in a personal treat each day for a week. Next comes postponing gratification. So it is commonly used to combat low frustration tolerance by deliberately delaying smoking, eating sweets, using alcohol, and so on. Homework. So homework is probably the most important REBT strategy, and it includes activities such as reading, self-help exercises, experiential activities. So therapy sessions are really training sessions between which the client tries out and uses what they have learned.
Applications. REBT is widely used in areas such as anxiety, depression, anger, marital difficulties, poor interpersonal skills, parenting failures, personality disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, eating disorders, psychosomatic disorders, addiction, impulse control disorders, pain management, antisocial behavior, adjustment to chronic health problems. The non-clinical applications of REBT are personal growth, workplace effectiveness. A 2017 review of 84 published articles on REBT concluded it's a valid treatment that can help with obsessive compulsive disorder, social anxiety, depression, and disruptive behavior.
So, REBT has been found in studies to be a successful type of therapy for disorders such as obsessive compulsive disorders, depression, social anxiety, and so on. However, REBT has not been without criticism. So, let us take a look into the criticisms of REBT. REBT has always drawn criticism from counselors as being harsh. Ellis even said that a caring relationship does not need to exist for REBT to work. Also, when working in schools, REBT can be very difficult because oftentimes students lack the emotional or the cognitive levels needed for this to be successful. Also, for REBT to work, client needs to be willing to work on their problem. Oftentimes, REBT requires the use of homework. So, if the client is not willing to even work on it during the session, they will not do any type of homework and REBT will not be effective. There is also a lot of criticisms that some techniques of REBT are forceful and degrading. Like the activities like shame attacking exercises can be difficult for the client to enjoy and really understand the purpose and whether it is worth it. People with a low frustration tolerance level will also struggle in case of REBT. According to Albert Ellis, too many people are unaware that it is not outer events or circumstances that will create happiness. Rather, it is our perception of events and of ourselves that will create or uncreate positive emotions. So, keep being happy, keep thinking positive. Thank you.